Hello, this is me for my week 7 through 8 self-reflection. I'll struggle to answer this in 3 minutes. I'll probably take the full 10 here. Just a little heads up. Sorry for wasting your time if I yap a little bit. Um, so after completing this week's readings and watching the TED Talk, the relationship I'm seeing between poverty and environmental justice, and generally regarding marginalized population and environment, is that people, I don't want to say below the poverty line, but generally people who have less wealth are more affected by the destruction of the environment. In the Van Jones video, I believe he used the phrase on the production, consumption, and basically when you're creating items, people in more impoverished areas, like in New York specifically, I think it was like a majority of the chemical plants were in black and brown neighborhoods that were below the poverty line. They didn't put them in the Upper East Side, They didn't put them on the rich part of I don't know New York geography. I'm gonna say Staten Island. That sounds rich to me, but catch my drift. The rich areas aren't where they put the places that produce hazardous chemicals on the manufacturing end. And then when it comes to the consumption part too, wealthy people have the ability to choose to have BPA free water bottles, foods that have lower levels of BPA, eat organic, and all these things that are healthier and less contaminated. So it's and that's the consumption side. Then on the other side of getting rid of the problem, we usually export it to poorer countries for recycling. And then even in the U.S., dumps and such are usually near communities with lower house values, so then lower incomes. That was a really quick and shabby explanation, but in my other video I did a better one, so I think hopefully you can catch my drift there. That's probably the wrong. I'm bad with words. And then tying that into regarding marginalized populations environment, they're also much more affected, like we learned. A lot of indigenous communities live near the water and rely on natural resources. And with sea levels rising, they're displaced from their homes. And then relying on natural resources means that you're much more affected by climate change. If you're reliant on a certain crop or animal, and now it can't survive because the heat's increased, or a tropical storm wipes out all of your food crops you've been, slowly cultivating a food forest for hundreds of years, now it's wiped out, and you're forced to die or find a new way of life. So that's a big way that it affects marginalized people. And also a lot of indigenous communities have a deeper understanding with nature, like we learned earlier, especially from the, I believe you said it here, the introduction in sacred sites. Oh, about to sneeze. Sorry about that. When we learned about the indigenous environmental justice and reading sections in the book, I'm blanking on the name, but it was the one that referred to the monument with the Buddhas that were touching the ground, and how it being there through all the shapes and such invokes, kind of allows you to communicate with the earth in a better way than you can on a above scientific level, and have a more profound respect that a lot of indigenous communities seem to have had. And they're also ones that are more affected by the negative aspects of climate change, even though they're not causing it as much. Communities on either the North and South Poles are super affected with the permafrost melting, tulips blooming in the Arctic, or flowers blooming in the Arctic, all that type of stuff. And what strategies or initiatives could be organized to create a more environmentally just world? Taxes. Really, it's just taxes. It's all about money. At the end of the day, it's all it is. We live in a capitalist society, for better and for a lot of worse. Not much better, my opinion, just opinion. But yeah, it's basically just corporations will get away with whatever they can to make a profit. So what you have to do to keep them from doing things that are negative towards the environment is make it so it's no longer financially viable for them to do that. If you were to put on large taxes where it's no longer, let's say you have a crazy tax on over-polluting, and now it makes it more worth it for them to focus on greener alternatives, they'll do it in a heartbeat. Look at Tesla. They're not designed to be environmentally friendly. They were designed to take advantage of a loophole because electric cars were heavily subsidized by the government. Government subsidy goes a really long way, and that's the carrot, and also the stick, taxes on large corporations for over-polluting. Reuse, reduce, recycle is great and awesome, but a vast majority of pollution is from large corporations, oil companies. So unless we crack down on those, nothing's really going to change. And it's not saying it's easy to do necessarily as far as enact it, but to understand the problem and like look at a percentage of contributions, it's easy. It's large private companies that half the time have public funding, so we should have a right in what they do or say in what they do, anyways. Yeah, I hope that my new understanding. I think I said that in the first part. I hope that is a solid answer. If not, let me know. I can re-record this video. Thank you.